Team Liquid will have first pick, Mass Banned Out, Cursed Hollow, and Braxis.
I am surprised to say the least, because at this point in time, Team Liquid has a 2-0 track record on Dragonshire, and Granit Gaming is sitting at an 0-2 on the map. And they chose it. Actually, no, I'm lying, they are 0-3 even. So they picked the map twice already, but they're now playing a map where they haven't found a single victory against an opponent who is currently undefeated here. Of course, we're talking about small sample sizes, it depends a lot on which team you go up against, but it's still interesting to me that they come out and say, okay, this is the first map that we want to play against them. And I would have expected just from the stats so far that Team Liquid is the team that chooses to play on Dragonshire, but it's the exact opposite. Then again, Granit Gaming has a good strategy prepared there, and they're able to take Team Liquid down on this map. That would already be a great start for them into the series, but it's still taking a bit of a risk. And I feel it just shows the confidence and that they believe, hey, we have a draft here where we think Liquid doesn't really know how to respond.
A hero that they showcased a lot on Friday was Zeratul. Now, to be fair, they were playing against the Monkeys, and they did mention they want to keep that out of Alex's hand. But Granit Gaming has shown that they are willing to play a little bit more Zeratul in their mix-up, especially with their latest role swaps. And I'm very curious to see what we're going to get here on Dragonshire. There is always the consideration that you have to worry about potentially that Samuro pick. They have mentioned it's still a back pocket strategy for them if they want to go that route. And if you wanted to go bring it on a map that you haven't won yet on, this could be the one. So Team Liquid should consider that.
And also keep in mind that if Granit Gaming loses today, then their chances of going to the Western Clash are pretty much done with. So they really want to win here. This is the moment where they say, okay, well, the best chance for us to make it to an offline event is if we're able to take Team Liquid down today. So we might see these pocket strategies coming out. We might see another Samuro game where they are switching back to Nanda on the front line. Sorry, on Samuro, and therefore Ray was on the front line. So that might definitely happen here. When it comes to the bans, the third ban, of course, has shaken things up quite significantly for this weekend. One of the things that we're now seeing immediately is a URL ban by Team Liquid. URL currently in a fantastic spot, 34 wins and 20 losses, a 63% win rate, and especially on Dragonshire, she is highly successful because of the dominance you have over the top lane, where you can control not only the shrine, but also the experience on the lane itself. So it makes sense to ban her out here. And in this case, Team Liquid already opting for another double support composition with an early Tesla pick.
And with them banning out Urel too, that Tracer could be something that Team Liquid could move into if Granit Gaming is going to give it up on this 1-2. One of the responses that we've been seeing from Tracer and high mobility characters is just get a strong front line and pair it with Urel. But with Urel being banned out, suddenly there's some room here to get some picks with that Tracer, who has had some issues getting through the high sustain front line that Urel has given a lot of teams here.
Yeah, Phoenix also chosen early on now, and with Phoenix we are currently seeing 1 win and 6 losses for Granit Gaming. Then again, that being said, they are currently in a spot where they are really starting to become more dangerous just lately. They have shown some great showings in matches that they lost, but so far Phoenix hasn't really found the results for them. But we also, of course, have to always throw in that little caveat that they just went through a role swap that you already pointed out a few times. That came in just 2 weeks ago, so last weekend. And since then, they look a lot stronger and a lot more powerful, so that might definitely have a big impact on the way they present themselves here.
Granit Gaming, thinking about their bans here, thinking about possible damage that you don't want to deal with. They decided actually to get rid of Kerosene, as they're targeting that double support setup. Although, is Kerosene the way to go to? Looks like they're a little bit scared about Phoenix possibly being dived. Team Liquid on their side for bans. You can think about Diablo here. You can think about Thrall. Things that pair well here with Phoenix.
And also with Muradin chosen, it's another indicator of how strong Muradin really is on Dragonshire. We talk about him always being a priority pick on this map because you can just easily jump over debris, go into the shrine, jump out of brush from mid to bot lane and try and get that Stormbolt in for a setup. Diablo now also, as you already indicated, taken away here, so definitely targeting a lot of that front line. Granit Gaming still has options with Johanna, with Garrosh that they could execute here. But especially with Phoenix being picked this early, we kind of expected a ban on Diablo just simply because he is just so good with that lightning breath to set things up for Phoenix. But here comes that Zeratul that we already pointed out. Granit Gaming, they really like to run it and they are quite dangerous with it. Rainbow's doing a fantastic job on the hero.
Really believe in the Zeratul here. They need a little bit more damage, it feels like, but they do have pick capability, that is for sure. Even a toss into a focus on that target and then a VP afterwards to prevent the opponents from coming in can be something that Granit Gaming does with this combo. They even have a little bit of a self-contained wombo combo with the Cleave build and then Phoenix Salvo. Although we've been seeing a lot of Planet Cracker lately, that's for sure.
Tracer comes in, as we kind of expected after the Tacita pick. Could actually have seen Tracer being banned out. And a Valera.
Wow.
I personally expected them to maybe head into Thrall here. First of all, you get the point and click against Tracer, which is always a plus. Then you also have Earthquake, which helps you with the Phoenix damage. But we have a Valera coming in again. They already showed a mass stealth combo just in, well, I think it was 2 weeks ago on Towers of Doom, where they played with Zamuro in this setup as well, and a Zeratul plus Valera. Right now, we're not seeing the Zamuro variation of it, but still that burst damage potential from Valera and Zeratul mixed with Phoenix. So I actually like the damage potential here. Especially after level 16, if you go for the Salvo, which I still expect over Planet Cracker, you start moving in with Zeratul, you just cleave away, get them low, and then Phoenix can follow up on that and just confirm those kills. So I'm interested to see how this works out, but it's definitely a hyper-aggressive draft that Granit Gaming shows here.
Well, that's what I'm worried about here. It's hyper-aggressive, and there's one target that you're trying to get, Tracer. The thing is, there's a lot of protection here for Tracer. You have Tassadar, you have Blaze of Bunker, you have Murden jumping around.
One target?
Well, I guess you have Tassadar too if you want to play Tassadar.
The silent.
In my mind, I'm like, Tassadar, the moment he hits 7, he should never be in a spot where he gets caught by Valera, but that is a good point.
If Valera comes out of a bush, if Tassadar is too close to a bush and Valera comes out of Tassadar, is dead, just instantly. The burst damage that Valera has is insane, and Tassadar has a small hit point.
That's true.
So, but I agree with you. Like, he should be in a position where you can see it coming. But if Valera at any moment gets close to Tassadar, he just gets deleted.
Exactly. Let's go to game number 1 here as we have a hyper-aggressive draft coming out for Granit Gaming. They want to grab this win as quickly as they can against Team Liquid and see if they have chances here to going to the Western Clash. Here on the left side, in the blue, Granit Gaming. Immediately here, Meat and Craft. Coming out, we'll be playing the Valera, Raid Boss on Phoenix, Wolf Joe on Deckard, and Nande on Garrosh, and Darkmok on Zeratul.
And over to the right side of the map, we have Team Liquid. Germans versus Germans today. Nurok on Malfurion. Arcana, the Australian, currently playing on Tracer. Eternal, of course, on the offlane with Blaze. Sport Billy on Murden. Last but not least, Hazu Obst on Tassadar.
So right away, you're going to see Team Liquid be a little bit on the clumped up side as they come to the middle of the map here. Don't expect too much aggression from Granit Gaming unless you're Valera. Zeratul in the top lane will have a little bit of a safe time poking in the top lane. He'll be careful, cleaving out the lanes, waiting for Wormhole to come online, and that Urel strategy of jumping in and out between the shrines will be something that they can pull off when they get that Wormhole.
Now, yesterday we saw Fnatic going up with a very aggressive composition with Valera against Dignitas, and Dignitas did a fantastic job keeping their heroes safe, moving very cautiously on the map and making sure that there's no trap that is set up that could be used to take one of the heroes down. Liquid has to play a very similar style now, where they need to be very careful. They need to make sure that they call out whenever they know where Valera is, so that the rest of the team on opposite lanes can relax a little bit and move a bit more farther out. The 4-man Roam squad that we see at the bot lane is, of course, going to be something where Team Liquid is trying to have strength in numbers to make sure that it's harder for Granit Gaming to get that engage. But Granit Gaming is not just one-tricking it with their strategy. They are now heavily focused with those two silent assassins to also take the camps instead. So I already like this, that they're deviating a bit from just trying to get hero kills.
Leaving up that night camp, they'll have that pushing in the top lane. Blaze should be able to deal with that eventually, but it is something that is helpful for trying to get to that spot where you get to that mid game where you're trying to level up a little bit on your characters. Of course, Zeratul with a 7, the one that I talked about earlier, wanting to buy a little bit more time until he connects with that. Giant started on the bottom left here for Phoenix too, so they will have that countermeasure against the push from Team Liquid. With Shrines popping up already, Team Liquid will group up and be able to start to control this bottom side. I am worried for Blaze. He'll be the one that has to be a bit careful, and you see that actually already with Valera heading up there. But luckily, Team Liquid is ready for that. They actually have a Tassadar to back him up.
Valera has, by the way, played 4 times in HGC Europe and lost only 1 single game, and that was, of course, between Fnatic and Dignitas just yesterday. In this case, though, she gets rooted, and Darkmok on his Zeratul is also fairly low. And talking about silent stealth assassins, Zeratul is currently sitting at 8 wins and 4 losses within HGC Europe. So definitely a hero that sees a lot more playtime than he did in the first phase of 2018. And also with a pretty decent success, especially if he can reach that late game, where his level 16 talent is going to give him a massive power spike.
It's crazy to me that we could have actually had Valera getting that win too yesterday, just barely missing out on it. Good patience from Team Dignitas. Granit Gaming actually keeps their Giants alive for a pretty decent time in the bottom lane. Actually, a little bit of damage on top of these turrets. Finally, Team Liquid will clear that up. So one of the things that they are lacking a bit is between only Tassadar and Blaze is their wave clear. Raid Boss in trouble here on the bottom left. Arcaner goes in. He's unable to get out as Granit Gaming loses one team of Liquid and continues to control the shrine to the south.
That was a really great Stormbolt. It just hit Phoenix as he was attempting to warp out, so without his escape tool ready, there's absolutely no way for Raid Boss to get away, and that's the first kill for Team Liquid. And that's an important one here if you go up against such an aggressive composition. If you start to take the lead here, this is definitely something that you can use to win the game, just snowball it. And I also want to highlight again what talent we have on Tassadar's level 4, because it makes so much sense with the composition they're up against. With any other setup for Granit Gaming, I'm very certain that Tassadar with Tracer would have gone into the Life Leech. It's usually what you see on level 4 here for him with the Tracer composition. But given what they're up against and the burst idea that is behind the draft that we see for Granit Gaming, it's all about the armor. Keep the target alive, and as long as you can pull that off, you have a very good chance of then carrying the team fight afterwards.
Honestly, the more I see it, the more I think that's the premier talent you should be picking up no matter what the composition is. Sure, a little bit of lifesteal is good, but having that armor towards the end of a shield expression allows you to be able to put it on top of your main tanks as well. It seems more versatile as a pickup. I actually enjoy it very much in a lot of scenarios you play in it. Even if you're scared of that burst not coming on top of your back line, having it for that front line is good too.
Yeah, I mean, it's always useful, but when it comes to what's better, I really feel it comes down to the composition that you play against as well. So mostly you see it these days with Tracer. Most of the other double support setups that we have, you will see armor. With Tracer, I think it's the only hero where we still consistently see the extra life leech. And then it comes down to what does my opponent play.
Yeah.
If they play a poke composition, then it makes a lot of sense to simply go for the extra life leech. But if it's all about the on-point burst, then of course trying to keep the target alive with that extra armor is just absolutely invaluable. And that's why Team Liquid goes down that round now.
Well, 7-7 for both of our teams. No Dragon Grab yet. Team Liquid, even after their first kill, still being in a solid spot on the map here. Nothing really opening up for Granit Gaming yet, but they did hit that 7 that we were talking about, so top lane becomes a bit more of a nuisance. What I will say, though, is they're having a little bit more rotations for Zeratul in particular. He's been used as wave clear here for Granit Gaming, just constantly going to the middle lane, working on the cleaving, and then heading back to the top while Valera takes over camp, as Blaze will be the one that wants to attempt to rotate up.
It's also an interesting setup from Granit Gaming for a very different reason. Normally, when you're going up against a composition that highly relies on kills, you're talking about the early game being absolutely crucial. If the opponent's team can just delay this a little bit and make sure that they don't lose heroes in the early game, then normally you scale very well into the later stage. But with the Zeratul being here, that damage potential doesn't really evaporate. He just has that additional power spikes later on in the game where they can still find these kills, even if Team Liquid plays it safe early on.
Nande in trouble in the middle. Yeah, Valera coming behind and trying to help him out, but Memecraft may have gotten out of position. Arcaner chasing. Support Billy's here with the Stormbolt. If he lands it, that's going to be a dead Valera. Here comes the Jet Propulsion. Boom! Memecraft taken out as Team Liquid finds 2 kills in the game.
Yeah, great kill here by them. And that's just the Stormbolt that you don't see coming. He comes out of the bush from the direction where you are headed. You can maybe to an extent anticipate that there might be something set up, but where do you go from here? It was just one of those cases where the chase was on and there was no way for Valera to get out of it. It was a great kill by Team Liquid. And they are now also rewarded with the early level 10. They have a half-level lead, and they might be able to get a Dragonite of this. And if not, then at least push Granit Gaming back even further. So at this point, Team Liquid with a very, very solid start into this game. 2 kills versus 0, nearly a level lead, and the attempt to get the Dragonite.
Ooh. Last second the cube comes out from Wolf Joe. Hostile Labs going for the channel. There it is.
Actually, really impressive that he got that, because Raid Boss has been pushing back Nurok at the bot lane shrine and was already trying to take control of the shrine. Half a second later, and he would have denied the Dragonite. That was a very, very clutch channel here.
Team Liquid with a clutch channel. Should be able to start working on this fort in the middle. A setup for top lane, though, is currently underway as Granit Gaming is trying to put some pressure on Blaze. But Team Liquid, one step ahead, already has Tracer rotating forward. They have Sport Billy here, too, to keep him alive. And that attempt from Granit Gaming will not be able to get anything here. And meanwhile, the entire time, Dragon is just hitting on that fort. Deckard Cain, he can't do much about that.
Yeah, Zeratul is attempting to just chunk him down, but as you can see here, the DK is still at 70% HP. The fort is already gone, and Liquid now holds an entire level lead. We have actually, on level 10, I'm not quite sure if you pointed out already, you might have the Planet Cracker over the Salvo.
Yeah.
Despite Zeratul's cleave abilities, and especially with that AoE damage that he brings in after 16. I personally really expected them to go into the Salvo. But with Planet Cracker, the idea seems to be to just follow up on Valera even more heavily and ideally attempt to force a fight within a choke point where Phoenix can get the extra value.
The other side of it, too, is that if your opponent is going for a bunker play and there is bunker available for Blaze, you can shred that bunker and make sure they don't dance around the armor too much, which gives more time for Zeratul and Valera to be able to force a fight. So it's more of an anti-bunker type of pickup, but I still wouldn't mind seeing Salvo here.
I mean, it also works with taunt, right? So if you at any point get a good Garrosh taunt, often you can communicate that in time with Phoenix, and there's definitely a lot of value to be had with it. And with the low hit point pools of a Tassadar and a Tracer, if you just get that coordinated, well, you should be able to confirm a kill here. So they try to make that play instead of relying on Salvo, and it can definitely work out. But I'm curious to see how much value they're going to get in this game, how Team Liquid is going to adjust to it, and how they're going to try and play around it.
Team Liquid with the 4th in the middle, the 2 kills on their way to 13, have a pretty solid lead, but Granit Gaming is creeping on that level 16 that we always talk about for Zeratul. As soon as that connects, they'll be able to have some pretty aggressive team fights, and if they'll get that cleave reset, Team Liquid can melt pretty quickly. But for now, Team Liquid holds the lead, and they're staying grouped up too. Look on the minimap. They're in a spot where they're always near each other. Someone's there to help out.
That's what we talked about early on. The strength in numbers from the 4-man rotation, making sure that Valera Zeratul can't easily get a kill. And if you look at the kill count, even with this aggressive setup, Granit Gaming hasn't found a single kill yet. Team Liquid is pushing aggressively through the bot lane with that Siege Giant camp that they have. They want another fort, and since there's level 13 missing for Granit Gaming, the blue team is very reluctant to engage in the defense. So they have the 2 stealthies up to the top and try to find some value in deleting the structures themselves so that they get that experience gap closed as quickly as possible for the level 13 talent. But this is definitely a situation where Team Liquid is just absolutely running the pace of the game.
And I almost feel like Granit Gaming is trying to pull Team Liquid around, but Team Liquid just is not giving that footing. Even with them having a few people come to the top to defend that night camp push coming in, and Granit Gaming getting 13 and killing the wall, Team Liquid starts their camp to the bottom lane. They realize, okay, Zeratul and Valera are the top lane. That's the major threats here from Granit Gaming. So let's just go to the outside of the map, grab what we can, and push in that lane. They grab that night camp, that'll be pushing there, and now they can start a fight here in the middle. And already you have Malfurion take a little bit of pressure on that back right. Dark Monk has to teleport away, but the Ice Block was used.
Hazos was also insanely low. The bomb is getting a lot of value here as Tracer is trying to eliminate Zeratul. We're seeing Nanda and Garrosh also attempting to escape here. Valera is not with the team at this point in time. Very nice route from Deckard Cain, preventing the worst as Granit Gaming is attempting to retreat. Phoenix was still at the bot lane, but of course he can always use Planet Cracker if there is a setup in the mid lane to help out.
Yeah, that was a Void Prison to stay alive. The moment that went out and Dark Monk was down to a quarter health, there was no way they're going to win that team fight, so Valera just went to the top instead. Sets up for a potential gank. Actually nice and stealth down. It would be nice to put some damage on a Thurnal, but there's no one nearby, and when Tassadar are lurking in the shadows, it's probably something that Memecraft should not go for. He goes for it, puts the damage out, and Tassadar is rotating up.
Yeah, Tassadar's coming, and now Memecraft is getting body blocked by Eternal, so I'm not quite sure if that was really worth it, especially since Arcana is now moving in, but Memecraft still able to escape. The follow-up, though, is taking him down finally. Valera is gone, Dartmok on the run, and Arcana might just have enough damage to confirm another kill here. Double kill against the Stealthies. Bit too aggressive from Memecraft. Thought he could put some free damage onto Blaze and got immediately punished for it.
Now that was a bait. Come on. That had to be a bait, right?
Yeah, I'm walking on the objective because I want to bait my opponent.
Yes!
That's how it works.
One of these moments we're going to have a Team Liquid bait. I'm going to make it a thing, eventually.
Even the players have shut you down on that idea. Even the players, when you ask them, were like, nah, that wasn't a bait. I mean, like, when it happened, yeah, we followed up on it quickly, but that wasn't a bait. And that wasn't a bait either, by the way.
I'll never conform. Ever. Team Liquid gets to drag it here, and we play for 16.
Yes, Tim, the players are lying to you.
They are. They're hiding actual strategies from other opponents, letting them know they're never being baited into fights. I know it. I know these things.
It was a ruse.
16 connects for Team Liquid. And we have pressure in the bottom lane. They're going straight for the keep. Granit Gaming now a talent behind. But they still have their keeps here. If they can hold and not lose too much on their dragon, get towards 16. That composition will start to spike there for Zeratul. Or Billy comes over here on the side. As he sees Dark Monk, Valera puts a little bit of damage out too, but nothing should unfold.
They punish Memecraft so hard every single time he goes in and tries to dish out damage. It's actually impressive. Void Prison gets also being used here. And whoa, that's a Garrosh. Okay. That was an interesting setup here. It just shows you how tall these Void Prisons are. It looks like a small dome, but it's actually not. One
much
over
taller
the
than you would
Void Prison.
think. I will say Team Liquid is actually having a harder time getting this keep than I thought they would have. This dragon has been shredded already. Bunker gets used. Granit Gaming, stay a while and listen and try and lock some targets down here on the right. Sport Billy will use the avatar, but the keep is still alive. It is still pretty healthy.
The keep is safe for now, but the 2-level lead for Team Liquid is very difficult to bridge for Granit Gaming. And the 4-0 kill count shows you very, very impressively how well Team Liquid plays around the threat of Zeratul and Valera. Now granted, so far Granit Gaming haven't really found a setup. We didn't see a Planet Cracker come out yet. They didn't really find a kill where they said, okay, this is the moment where we're going to flip the switch. After level 16, that might start to look a bit different since we have Zeratul's power spike coming in as well. But so far, Team Liquid has just dominated things here. And they are setting the pace of the game. And that's something that the Granit Gaming is not going to be happy with.
They really want this keep. They're going to protect these Giants. Even having Tracer go in for a little bit, poke some damage in. Malfurion can heal that up, no problem whatsoever. Granit Gaming trying to buy their time, but they can't sacrifice this keep. 16. So close for them. They are desperate for the 16. Darkmok wants to come forward, can help out with a cleave on the minion wave. There it is. Wormhole to help out as well. Even throwing down a Thurnal, making sure he can't mount up. There it is, 16. And Team Liquid will back up. They need to get back to defend top lane, but also they want to avoid this fight as VP is about to be up.
He got a lot of damage in, and whenever they win a team fight, they can simply rotate down and take it here. But this is now the time when Granit Gaming has to make some plays. They have been punched over and over again, right in the face throughout the entire game, especially their 2 stealthies have been punished hard whenever they attempted to engage. And especially Minecraft had a really tough time. Normally with Valera, you see oftentimes her making an engage, chunking someone down by 30 to 50% HP, and then retreating. But Liquid is having none of that. Every time Valera shows herself, she is hunted. And that's something that is a huge problem for Minecraft in particular, but Granit Gaming in general. So now is the time with even talents where you need to make a play. You need to fight for that Dragonite, and you need to try and find the synergy with Planet Cracker to secure these kills. But Minecraft is again in the same spot, in the same problem, and he's gonna fall.
VP comes out, but it's too late. Valera taken out, Minecraft having such a hard time.
And now it's not only Valera being dead. VP is not a 90-second death timer. So you have a much bigger problem at your hand. You're staggering deaths with Garrosh falling. Your Void Prison isn't there, which is a huge part of this composition. Things just don't work well for Granit.
No, they do not. It's going to get worse. Stormbolt comes out. Wolf Joe getting chunked down. The hammers colliding, and Sport Billy helps secure the kill. And Granit Gaming will lose 3. Team Liquid goes over and gets to grab a dragon, but Darkmox attempts to slow that down for a little bit here, even using a Singularity Spike. Shouldn't be able to buy too much time with Tacet coming over. There it is. Dragon pops up, and this comes on the heels of a level 20 about to pop, and a keep already low on the bottom left. Team Liquid can make a play to win the game.
Exactly. This keep has no chance of survival, and they already pushed the waves out pretty instantaneously as they were taking the Dragonite, so their own minion wave is going to arrive soon to soak even additional damage if they need it. But the Dragonite is now moving in. It's going to be a 5-man defense, but level 20s have just been collected by Team Liquid, so they have a Storm Talent advantage, a 3-level lead. The stats alone are heavily in their favor here. And that Dragonite is marching straight towards the core. The attempt of a fight behind. Zeratul is falling, he's down, and Team Liquid is just absolutely destroying Granit Gaming, completely breaking the rhythm of this composition.
Granit Gaming trying to hold though. The Dragon's getting lower, but the core, it starts to lose its health points. And then goes down to 60%, down to 50, and Team Liquid, with anyone not even being close to death, is going to turn their attention to the core, and they drop it as well. Team Liquid will grab the first win in this best of 5 series as they go up 1-0 over Granit Gaming.